The fluorescent lights overhead emit a dull, continuous drone that vibrates slightly behind your eyes. You stand behind your metal cart on the scuffed linoleum floor. The air smells faintly of damp cardboard and chilled produce. Ahead of you is the black rubber of the conveyor belt. You are waiting for your turn in this quiet public theater. You arrange your items on the belt with deliberate, mathematical precision. Heavy jars of pasta sauce and dense canned goods go first. Rigid boxes of cereal follow, forming a structural middle layer. Fragile items like soft bread and eggs are placed at the very end. This is not just organization. This is a carefully calculated strategy. You tell yourself this is simply how a capable adult operates. You are anticipating the physics of the grocery bag. You are making the cashier's job entirely effortless. If they scan in the correct order, the bagging process will be seamless and rapid. You are being a highly functional citizen of the supermarket. Someone stands in the aisle behind you. You hear the squeak of their cart wheels coming to a sudden halt. You immediately pull your own cart closer to your body. You adjust the angle of your shoulders, drawing them inward to make yourself physically smaller. You leave them plenty of room to pass. They have not asked you to move. They are staring blankly at a magazine rack. Still, you pull your elbows tightly against your ribs. You imagine the invisible physical boundary between your bodies and ensure you are not crossing it. You are hyper-aware of the physical volume your body occupies in this exact moment. You pull your phone from your pocket. The screen is entirely dark. You check it anyway, staring at a blank lock screen without opening any notifications, just to look occupied. You slide it back into your pocket. 4 minutes later, you repeat this exact motion. You must always appear purposefully engaged. The person in front of you is finally paying. They move with an infuriating lack of urgency. They watch the total appear on the screen, then slowly dig into a deep tote bag for a wallet. You stare at the back of their head. You feel a quiet, rigid tension settling into your jaw. You would never allow yourself to be so completely oblivious. You would never steal 30 seconds from the collective patience of a crowded store. You pride yourself on being completely ready. Before the cashier has even finished scanning your first 3 items, you already hold your credit card firmly in your hand. You swipe the plastic card before the terminal even prompts you to pay. The machine beeps a harsh, metallic rejection. You pull the card out and wait, staring at the blank digital screen. You tap your thumb against the edge of the plastic. You are aggressively prepared to leave this building. The cashier begins dragging your items across the glass scanner. The rapid succession of electronic beeps dictates the rhythm of your hands. You snap open a canvas bag. You drop the heavy jars into the corners. You are moving with the frantic, precise coordination of a short-order cook during a rush. Your heart rate elevates over the simple act of bagging onions and cheese. You slide a heavy carton of milk into place. You realize you are holding your breath, just like you do when walking closely past a neighbor on the sidewalk. You let out a short, quiet exhale through your nose and resume packing. The cashier barely looks at you. They are caught in their own monotonous rhythm, dreaming of their upcoming break. The person behind you is scrolling on a phone, entirely indifferent to your existence. No one is timing you. No one is tapping a foot. The pressure is entirely generated inside your own mind. Yet you pack as if you are defusing a bomb in a crowded room. You grab the final loaf of bread and place it gently on top. You shove the printed receipt into your pocket without looking at the numbers. You grab the heavy bags by their woven fabric handles and turn away. You walk toward the automatic sliding doors with a brisk, determined stride. You notice a stranger walking slightly ahead of you at the exact same pace. The physical synchronization makes you deeply uncomfortable. You stop near the exit and pretend to inspect your bags. You let them walk away. You wait 3 seconds for the stranger to clear the doorway. You step out into the cool evening air. The parking lot is bathed in the orange glow of sodium streetlights. You let your shoulders drop a fraction of an inch. You listen to the distant sound of highway traffic. You load the bags into the trunk of your car. The heavy thud of the trunk closing is a distinct punctuation mark. You slide into the driver's seat and shut the door. The sudden silence inside the cabin is thick and absolute. You grip the leather steering wheel with both hands. You are exhausted. It is a very specific, hollow kind of fatigue. It is not the tiredness of physical labor or complex problem solving. It is the invisible drain of constant low-grade vigilance. You turn the key in the ignition. The engine hums quietly in the empty expanse of the parking lot. You think this exhaustion is just the price of being a functioning adult. You believe that being hyper-aware of your surroundings makes you deeply empathetic. You tell yourself that moving quickly is a sign of respect for other people's time. You frame your anxiety as a supreme form of modern politeness. You are always anticipating the friction you might accidentally cause. You script entire casual interactions in your head before they ever happen. You type a text message, edit the punctuation 3 times to sound softer, and then delete the entire thing. You map out the path of least resistance through every single day. But sitting in the quiet car, a different thought arrives. It is uninvited and cold. You realize that you are not just being polite, you are apologizing. You are apologizing for standing in a line, for buying food, for taking up physical minutes in a shared public domain. You move at breakneck speed because you secretly believe your presence is an inherent inconvenience. If you are perfectly efficient, you become entirely invisible. If you are invisible, no one can find a reason to be annoyed with you. If no one is annoyed with you, you are finally safe from judgment. Your efficiency is not a courtesy. It is a heavy, suffocating armor. You wear it to protect yourself from the gaze of strangers. You curate your movements to avoid taking up any emotional or physical oxygen. You have convinced yourself that being completely frictionless is the only acceptable way to belong. Think about the sheer amount of energy it takes to be this unobtrusive. You monitor the moods of people you will never actually speak to. You track the quiet sighs of a stranger behind you in a queue. You calibrate your entire existence to ensure you are never perceived as a burden. It is a profoundly lonely way to navigate the world. When you shrink yourself down to a perfectly efficient point, you leave nothing for anyone to genuinely connect with. You are a ghost hauling groceries. You are a blur of apologetic motion passing through fluorescent aisles. You are aggressively avoiding the friction of life. But friction is where human contact actually happens. It is the awkward moment 2 carts bump and 2 people laugh. It is the shared groan when a barcode flatly refuses to scan. It is the simple, grounded act of moving at your own natural pace, regardless of who is watching you. You pull out of the parking lot and merge onto the quiet evening road. The streetlights pass overhead in a rhythmic, strobing sequence. The groceries sit in the trunk, perfectly packed, perfectly arranged. You did everything right. You caused no delays. You were the ideal, invisible customer in the store tonight. You stop at a red light. The intersection is entirely empty. You watch the red bulb glowing brightly against the dark sky. You wonder what it would feel like to just stand in a line and simply exist. To let someone wait for you without feeling a sudden spike of pure adrenaline. You wonder what it would be like to not hold your breath. To let your shoulders rest in their natural shape. To stop editing your physical presence. To stop earning your right to exist in public through acts of extreme, frantic competence. The light turns green in the dark. You press the accelerator. The car moves forward into the night. You will carry the heavy bags into your kitchen. You will unpack the glass jars and the cereal boxes. You will put the milk in the refrigerator. You will fold the empty canvas bags and put them away in a drawer. You will do it all quickly. You will do it efficiently. The house is entirely empty, but the rush is still there in your hands. The invisible clock is still ticking loudly in the back of your mind. You are still trying to beat a timer that no one else ever set. You turn off the kitchen overhead light. The room falls into shadow, illuminated only by the pale glow of the street lamp outside the window. You stand in the silence. The floorboards are cold under your bare feet. You are entirely alone, yet you still feel the eyes of the world. Someone stands by a window in a dark kitchen, looking out at an empty street. They fold their arms tightly across their chest. They are tired from a day of being entirely perfect and completely unseen. They take a long, slow breath. The glass is incredibly cold against their resting forehead. The silence in the room is heavy. You listen to the faint, mechanical hum of the refrigerator. You realize you are still bracing your shoulders. You are still ready to move out of the way if someone asks you to. But there is no one here. There is only you. There is only you, and the quiet realization that you have spent your entire day running from the crime of simply being alive. You look at the neatly arranged pantry. You look at the perfectly folded bags. You have been so exceptionally good today. You have been so incredibly good. And yet, the deep exhaustion does not lift. The armor remains tightly bolted to your skin. You wonder when you decided that your natural pace was an offense to the world. You wonder who taught you that safety only comes from being entirely unnoticeable. The refrigerator hums its quiet, steady note. You hear a faint noise outside your apartment. A neighbor's key turns in a lock down the hall. Instantly, you adjust your posture. You stand up straighter in the dark. You hold your breath, listening to the heavy footsteps pass your door. You are always bracing for an impact that never comes. You step away from the window. You walk down the dark hallway. You do not turn on the lights. You know exactly where to place your feet to avoid making the floorboards creak. You are still moving quietly. You are still trying not to wake a house that is already empty. The air in the hallway is perfectly still. You reach the doorway of your bedroom. You pause with your hand resting on the cold brass doorknob. You are tired, but you are not ready to sleep. You are waiting for permission to let your guard down. Permission that will never arrive. Stay here for a moment. Listen to the quiet hum of the house, and let your shoulders drop.